What's going
It's
through your mind right now?
oh man, this is what it does. I love this, because you think that it's solid, it's gonna go to 120, and then bam, completely the bottom drops out. And the only thing I think is like, man, I've bought sats a couple times over the last couple weeks. Why didn't I just wait for a pullback? But what are you thinking?
Well, you always would have bought at the right time, and you always would have sold at the right time. But of course, the right time never exists. I honestly feel nothing. I don't know if it's just where I'm at in my life, where we've been through this multiple times before, where you almost begin to expect the unexpected. So when we're touching what was 108, I
Right.
think, right? 108.
Yeah. Well,
And then you
108. Yeah, we
think,
did it.
and then you think we're going to 120 by Christmas. And if that's what everyone's thinking and that's the expectation, then of course we would crash down to 96. But it's also crazy that we're talking about a crash down to 96K.
Crash down to $96,000. Okay, now I'll buy one Bitcoin for 96 grand that I have lying around.
What a deal. What a deal. If you're waiting for the dip, right? This is it. It's just amazing to me how the
Yeah,
psychology happens so quickly. It's not like it takes 2 years for us to settle into feeling normalcy at six figures. It takes 2 days. I mean, being at like 2 days in, what was 104 to 108. I was like, I'm used to this. I'm kind of bored actually right now. So are we going
hmm
more? Are we got, so it happens really fast. And I think it's obviously a really healthy thing.
Yeah, when you said I feel nothing, that is the right response, in my opinion. Feeling nothing, because you do get bored and you do forget. We were at 55, we ranged it between 55 and 68 for 6 months this year, you
Yeah.
know. And if you're not careful, you'll let your mood be determined by the Bitcoin price. And when you see it at 107, 108, and then it's at 104, you're like, oh man, what's wrong? Something must be wrong. And then 102, 101. And the point is that you cannot allow Bitcoin's price to dictate your emotions. You have to feel nothing. And when it dips like this, it's an opportunity. But you're right. No one has ever bought it and sold it at the perfect time. So you just have to stay humble and do what you can do. Buy whatever Bitcoin you're able to afford when that happens.
That's right. I've got my Lightning Store shirt on. It's going up forever, Laura. You've
Oh,
got
nice.
Laura from Twin Peaks. Really great. Lightning Store is awesome. I was gonna say one thing. My emotions are actually more, they fluctuate more when the price is going up. The dopamine that I get when we get run-ups is unlike anything else. And that's more taxing on my my bandwidth than when the price goes down. I've
Yeah.
almost been built to accept the price when it goes down and feel almost a comfort, if that's the right word. But when we get, 20% up in a day, and I'm constantly on X, and I'm like constantly looking at the price. Are we going to hit another new all-time high? At the end of that day, I'm completely wiped out. And I almost
Emotionally
welcome,
spent.
right? Like I almost
Right.
welcome a pullback to be like, okay, oh, okay, this is normal. Now I can breathe a little bit and just let Bitcoin do its thing. It's a very funny phenomenon, something I've noticed about myself.
I love the pullbacks because it means, the recent buyers have probably sold. The short-term holders, they've
Yeah.
gotten out of the market, they've gotten wrecked. And it's nice because it's like, yeah, you are not ready to play the game we're playing. Get out, beat it.
And I think an interesting thing too about this bull run now is that we have the micro strategy movement. So I do think it's a healthy thing that we're getting folks that maybe otherwise would have bought shitcoins. Instead of buying shitcoins, they're shitcoining into micro strategy. And maybe that's eventually going to tunnel in or funnel in. I don't know. I'm making that
Either
up
one.
to Bitcoin. But you could tell. I mean, I'm not a part of like the micro strategy. specific what chat room on X, but I come across it every now and then, and there seems to be a lot of people just completely freaking out that they couldn't imagine that MicroStrategy would go through volatility like this. Like they were like saying, you told me I thought this was going up like 10x
Right.
in the next month. And so I think that there's like some some new a lot of new people into Bitcoin, into MicroStrategy, obviously, that are bringing this mentality of fiat shitcoin world into it, and they're just going to learn. This is just them learning the hard way, and it's the healthiest thing that they could go through.
I was in that group for a little while, irresponsibly long, MSTR,
Yeah.
and I left because of the what you described. It's a lot of altcoiners, a lot of shitcoining, a lot of people that are, just looking for that next degen trade. And
Yeah.
I love the idea of MicroStrategy or anybody pulling a ton of Bitcoin off the market and teaching other companies how to use their balance sheet. I thought that was interesting, and that's why I joined the group. But I left it. I left it because for me, I want to be on X for signal. I want to see the people who can understand what's going on chain. I want to hear from the plebs who are feeling what I'm feeling emotionally. I love to laugh at the salty no coiners, and I don't have any time to spend on altcoiners. And I think the MSTR guys, the ones who put out the signal are long-term thinkers. Punter Jeff and Ben
Wait.
Workman. Yeah, those guys. Soleil's another one. Those guys are all really smart. They figured out what most people will find out, maybe a year from now or 2 years from now. And then you have this huge crowd of just groupies that have no idea. They're, and a good number are chasing clout. And I think it's fascinating to watch, but it's the way that I felt going through Bitcoin in 2021, where it was just skyrocketing, starting the year out at 20 and then going up to in the 60s, 68, whatever it did that summer. And I remember thinking when it crashed, I just want people to forget about Bitcoin for a while. Stop talking about Bitcoin. Like, it came, it did the dog and pony show, it left, and we're never going to rebound until people ignore it. And I think that we're, these cycles where we drop 10%, which really isn't that much, but these are
Nothing.
healthy. This is healthy. We need to clean out all the fat. And the price dropping is like Drano right down the tubes, getting rid of all the nasty shaving hairs in my sink. That's what's
My wife
if you
has
need
something. My
if
wife
you need
has
a
something to
picture.
say about that.
Yeah. Let's clean out these pipes. But I like it. It's now we got a fresh sink. We could say what is it? What is it right now? 95, 96,
96. We're
96.
going to
We're
95.
gonna touch, yeah. I don't know what the floor is. I don't care what the floor is. Just let me buy my sats in peace.
I think I mean, absolutely spot on. I think also you said groupies. Groupies is actually the correct derogatory term that we should be using for any tourists in the space, whether they're tourists in Bitcoin or tourists in MicroStrategy. Oh, we can call them shoobies, or we can call them groupies, or we can call
Yeah,
them tourists. The When we use the word pleb or plebe, however you prefer to say it,
pleb.
yeah, I say pleb. When we say that, we say it as a term of endearment. That's a badge of honor. That's
Right,
you've made it. Now you are a humble pleb. You look at dips, you feel nothing. You take it as an opportunity to stack more Bitcoin on the cheap. You were going to stack it at the top anyway. It doesn't matter. But now
right,
you're grateful because you got a dip because you were going to buy anyway, and you just bought at 6%, 10% lower prices than you were going to buy. Doesn't
right.
really matter, no, but you're not swayed. So the groupies, the tourists, the chubies, you you have to graduate to a pleb. And that
That's true.
takes that takes some work. That takes some building up some callus. So
Yeah,
if you're a groupie and you're tuning in right now, welcome. This is your opportunity to evolve into a humble pleb, build some callus, and don't worry about any of this short-term price movement. Your future self 10 years from now will laugh at that. So just
Yeah.
embrace it.
Yeah, that's good. I remember people saying similar things to what you said when I was getting going and dropping from, 69 down to 16,000.
Yeah,
And then writing that once that thing hit 20 and you knew, okay, we're not going any lower than 16. We're at 20 and now we're building on our way to 30. Then there were people who had been in Bitcoin long enough to say, if you've made it through that dip from 68 down to 16 and you hung with it and you didn't sell and you continued to learn and be in the space, you've earned your stripes as a pleb. And I agree. It's a badge of honor. You can be a pleb with 100 Bitcoin if you have the right mentality. Bitcoin only, truth, honesty, being authentic, calling out scams, helping other people. To me, like pleb is a mindset. It's not the amount of sats you hold. It's the way you think.
totally agree. One final point on when we went down to 16, I do remember a lot of people that were not plebs that were saying that Bitcoin was going to 5K. Doomberg was one of them. He was on What Bitcoin Did. Everyone that wasn't a pleb was focused on keeping cash on the sideline and waiting for it to go from 16K down to 10K down to 5K, and that never comes. So that's a
Mhm.
lesson that you might be looking at the price and think, well, said I was going to buy if it went down a little bit. Now we're down a little bit. But now that we're down a little bit, isn't it going to go down more? So why do I wait for 85 or whatever? You just don't know if any of that's ever going to happen. I have to take the opportunity that you're given. Just buy it regardless. That's
Yeah.
the best advice I was given, which I learned from the plebs that came before me, and they learned from the plebs that came before them.
Yeah. Passed down from epoch to epoch.
How I taught my father, and
Yeah.
how I learned from my father and his father. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Eastbound
No.
and Down with Will Ferrell,
Oh,
where I'm making
I,
love to my wife. Windows are up, and I've got the temperature set to 86 degrees. And my young son Gabriel walks in. You know what I'm talking about?
no. All I'm getting is I'm the guy playing a dude describe
I've
this guy.
got,
There's another dude.
I've got
Sorry.
basically only two impressions I can give, and they're kind of on that spectrum. And then
Yeah.
like Jamaican or Irish is the other thing I can do. But they sound
Oh
kind of,
man. Let's wait for the right context, but I'm excited to hear both of those at some point.
yeah, man, get some pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It's kind
I was gonna s-
of it could be Irish, it could be Jamaican. We don't know. Okay,
That's good.
enough,
Yeah.
enough of it,
Make
enough
Lucky
of it. Let's move
Charms.
on. Enough embarrassment. Let's get
Oh
the hell out
man.
of this situation and go over to some news. We want to talk about the strategic Bitcoin reserve first. Do you have thoughts on this?
Yeah. Let's take a break for some news.
Let's do that. We'll take a quick break and we'll come right back.
It's Christmas Eve in LA.
California.
Is Daddy coming home soon? Well, we'll see what Santa and Mommy can do, okay?
And New York cop John McClane has come to see his wife.
I missed you.
Instead, he's going to have to save her.
Sit down.
Within this skyscraper high above the city, 12 terrorists have declared war.
They're about to be taught a lesson in the real use of power.
They're as brilliant
Because I am interested in the $640 million in your vault.
as they are ruthless.
But I'm telling you, you're just gonna have to kill me. Okay. We do it the hard way.
Now, the last thing McClane wants
Think, damn it, think.
is to be a hero.
Where's Holly? Hey, Tucker! Where?
But he doesn't have a choice.
What does he think he's doing?
Job.
They have already killed one hostage.
This channel is reserved for emergency calls only.
Lady, do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza?
He's an easy guy to like
Come out to the coast. We'll get together, have a few laughs.
and a hard man to kill. Bruce Willis. Die Hard.
Got invited to the Christmas party by mistake. Who knew?
Okay, we are back in action. We're going to talk about some news going on. I think top of the list is strategic Bitcoin reserve. Do we have thoughts?
Yes, it's happening.
Yeah,
Those are my
the
thoughts.
story.
I mean, there's enough out there, but I think it's happening. I think it'll be a big deal. I don't know if the UAE has front run America and bought 300,000 to 400,000 Bitcoin. Some people say they have. If they have, good for them. Um, but yeah, I think our country, if you live in America, I think you want your country to own Bitcoin, um, only to protect your family's interests into the future. The other thing I like about America owning Bitcoin is they're going to lock it up for 20 years. I mean, they're taking Bitcoin off the table. That increases the scarcity. So you don't have to love your government, but it is the place where you live. So I think there's an argument to be said for, Bitcoin was never intended for governments to have it. But if you think about what Hal Finney said, it will be the pristine asset that banks use. We're moving in that direction a lot faster than we are a worldwide peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And I think that's fine. Hal was able to see what was going to happen. And I think that uh, global adoption or worldwide adoption for Bitcoin is key. So is the SBR happening? Of course it is. It's going to because it has to.
You don't have to love your government. In fact, we recommend that you don't. We recommend
Yeah,
that you distrust everything that they say. We are Bitcoiners. We don't like government. Having said that, it is out of the control. I mean, that's the whole point of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is for enemies. You get concerned about a government holding Bitcoin and then putting out legislation that says something like we're going to work with miners, and any Bitcoin that's mined in America is going to be bought at fair market value from America. And well, I don't like that. None of us would like that. We want the free market to prevail.
right.
But if they did something like that, that's a signal that we've got a pretty horrible administration. And there you go, the government's doing its thing again. So what do miners do? They go to a more friendly jurisdiction somewhere. I think
Exactly.
it adjusts. This is what happens. You have actions and you have reactions, and that is the free market playing out. And so I'm not as concerned about that. Some people are freaking out about the government holding Bitcoin, but that's what proof of work is for, to prevent them owning a tremendous amount and having literal sway over the network. We can still use Bitcoin as peer-to-peer cash. It doesn't really matter. And governments are going to buy Bitcoin. There's no way to prevent them from buying Bitcoin. That is the beauty of Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens. I think it's an interesting move to announce a strategic Bitcoin reserve. I haven't quite thought through the game theory of what that does. But if I am not America and I'm the UAE, I'm probably not announcing it. I'm probably not saying that I'm the one buying Bitcoin because I don't want to open the floodgates of the price run up just yet. Because once you do that, then it becomes a lot more expensive for you to stack Bitcoin before the United States comes in. Don't you think?
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's right. I also, part of my brain thinks that the US has been buying Bitcoin and our government is vast. It doesn't keep track of the money it spends. Um, it's inauditable. Uh, we don't know if the US has been buying Bitcoin since 2010 or 2012. We have no idea. The
Maybe
US could be mining
from
Bitcoin.
Ocean.
Well, the, the point I want to make is I don't think that we're going to wait until, January 20th, day one, executive order launched. I mean, I would not be surprised if they said we're adding to our existing Bitcoin stack. It includes what we confiscated, 200,000, plus a set number of other coins that we've been quietly buying for the last 10 years. That that wouldn't shock me. I don't think that if you think that we're really going to start buying Bitcoin for the first time on January 20th, I kind of think, I don't know. That seems like you're really kind of giving the government a lot of credit. There could be departments that are purchasing it now in anticipation of Trump doing the executive order. I think announcing it is just part of. I really don't know why they would do it, to be honest. Why would you telegraph your intentions and give everyone else a chance to outrun you?
I know.
So that's the question. Do we really already have Bitcoin, or we have a solution to that Bitcoin that we haven't told the public?
I know. I hope that we have been stacking Bitcoin as a country. If you love your country, wherever country you're at, you want them to be buying Bitcoin. You should be
Yeah,
buying, right?
yeah. I mean, this sounds a little conspiracy theorist, but could one of
Love it.
the you ready for it? One of the
Um,
institutions that financed Michael Saylor's latest purchases was the federal government. How about that?
wow.
Whoever is buying the convertible debt from Saylor, they're bankrolling him so he can buy Bitcoin on their behalf. And then you find out, oh yeah, well, the U.S. government was behind these huge purchases that he's made over the last 6 months. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying it's a possibility. A lot of this is opaque.
That is a possibility. I wouldn't like that because I generally don't like the government weaseling their way into businesses and doing weird shit like that. But it is something that the government would do. So it's feasible.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't the Federal Reserve have the bank overnight bank funding rate? I believe that the government provides, through the Fed, they provide funding for banks to stay solvent, and right there, that is the government propping up a corporate entity. So I think if we
BlackRock,
pretended,
could be
yeah,
BlackRock, could be any of the ETF
yeah,
providers.
JP Morgan. I mean,
Yeah,
who knows? I mean, that's way above my knowledge. I'm a left bell curve kind of guy, but
yeah,
I also am not going to run around and pretend that, everything is sunshine and rainbows. I think that the hash war, as Kaiser described it, like it's serious. And I think countries are competing, and the countries that are competing have weapons. We're just regular people, trying to do the 9 to 5 and provide for our families. We're playing in a big game.
yeah, that's true. It's we are kind of venturing into this soft war thesis that Jason Lowery wrote about before disappearing, but I think he's back. I think I saw him tweet
Yeah.
the other day.
Yeah, I think that a couple of things that he's posted to me, it shows that what he described a couple years ago is happening now, and he's signaling that the thesis he laid out is being put into practice.
Do you have his book, by the way?
No, I don't.
No, I do. I do. I see that it's going for like $10,000 on eBay, but
Yeah, that's point one Bitcoin. That's more than point one Bitcoin. What are you doing, man?
I think it's a bullshit price. No one's gonna pay that. I mean, imagine that. It's just one for the books, I was gonna say. One for just I love collecting like Bitcoin books, whatever Bitcoin books I can get my hands on. If as much as I can, I'll just like to impulse buy them. I just
Yeah,
say, okay, boom. And if I don't read it, I don't read it. But I imagine that in 20 years, I'll look back on this stack of Bitcoin books with just a deep, deep nostalgia for these days.
yeah, man. That's good. That's smart. I've got a handful of Bitcoin books.
Yeah,
Most of the
impulse
stuff.
buy. I do that with mostly any books. Like if there's a book that seems interesting to me, or if it's recommended, as much as I can, so I get a lot more recommendations these days than I used to. But there was a point where I said, if there's one thing I'm not going to be picky about, it's going to be the books that I read. And so I'll order it. And it's my own compulsion, it's my own hoarding. But eventually I want to imagine that I'll have a whole lobby of books. One of those really classic leather bound,
Oh
smelled
yeah,
oak
rich
library
mahogany.
with a fireplace, rich in mahogany, and we've
You've
got
got the ladder,
bar.
and you're
Yeah, you got the ladder. You can visualize this. So that's where the books will go.
Nice, man. That sounds that'll keep you busy.
For sure. Because what are we going to do when we've got all this free time? We're not working anymore. We're just Bitcoin bajillionaires. We're going to read and write and continue to shitpost.
Yeah. Brazilianaires, Bitcoin
Bitcoin
Brazilianaires.
Yeah, Brazilianaires. There we go. Let's talk about some more government stuff. This is fun. El Salvador and the IMF struck a deal, and that deal is for what is that deal? That deal is for 3.5 billion. The IMF is financing a package, agreeing, making. Let me try this again. El Salvador secures 3.5 billion IMF financing package after agreeing to make accepting Bitcoin voluntary and unwind its Chivo wallet. That comes from Bitcoin Magazine. You can tell because of the way that they framed it. So they have to nix Bitcoin as legal tender, and they have to shut down the Chiva wallet to get a loan from the IMF. I feel about this a couple of different ways. The white pill way is that Bitcoin should never be made mandatory, nor
Hmm.
should any currency be made mandatory in any country by law. You shouldn't have to say you must accept this. The free market dictates what the best money is. I'm a big fan of that belief. So, them sunsetting it as currency is a good thing. And Shiva Wallet was a state. I mean, it's a government Bitcoin wallet. That's not good, right? You don't want people using a
Yeah.
government frickin' wallet. I certainly wouldn't use it. So they're rolling that. So the net of it is that is good. I just hate that it's coming from the IMF. If it happened organically, beautiful, but the fact that it is a signal that the IMF still has the power to at least negotiate and dictate these terms after, I mean, watching Bukele just dunk on them over the last couple years has been beautiful. So to see this reneging on that, I'm a little uncomfortable with it. What do you think?
I think that they got the IMF to spend $3.5 billion on an app, right? The app is now gone. Essentially, that's what the IMF bought. They bought the ability for the app to be disappeared. And yeah, they don't have the mandatory, it's not the mandatory acceptance of Bitcoin at stores. So I think it's you have to look beyond the headline on this one. El Salvador gets $3.5 billion. They'll be able to pay it off with, the Bitcoin price appreciating or some other kind of financial instrument. And I agree that I wouldn't want to use a government app if unless I was forced to, which, in some cases we are forced to, even in the US. But I think it's a net positive. It's a net positive that El Salvador was able to come to the table and keep their Bitcoin, get the financing they need. Do you know what they plan to use those funds for? I know that a lot of plebs joked around about smash buying $3.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, but I would imagine it would go towards like Bitcoin City or some of the more aspirational goals they have.
I would hope that they would do something like that with the money, or creatively they could mine gold with it and
Yeah,
sell the gold to buy Bitcoin.
that would be
Because if they can't directly buy, I don't know what the terms are. I'm assuming the IMF wouldn't just give them a three and like might be able to dictate, no, you can't just buy this, use this to buy Bitcoin. If they can, they should. But if not, mine gold or other resources, sell that to buy the Bitcoin. And that would be brilliant.
you would think the free market would be down there ready to mine the gold and then
Yeah.
sell it to whoever as a way. But I suppose if the government owns the land, that's another way to think about it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity there. I think what I also believe is that as much as a Bitcoiner, I want Bitcoin to be the currency. I think that we're going to be living with local currencies, fiat currencies, stable coins for some time, for a long time. I don't see the alternative currencies going away and Bitcoin becoming the dominant. And I think that's a little disappointing because I think the world would be a better place if it was all using Bitcoin. I also think that it might be naive to think that that's possible in the next 2, 5, 10, 20 years. At some point, maybe my grandkids, but I think that we're going to have stable coins and digital currencies for a long time. And I think the IMF relationship with El Salvador proves that out.
Yeah, I'd love to see the day where Bitcoin is truly the currency of the world. I do believe it will be in our lifetime. I am a huge proponent of for the free market system, whatever the best money is should win out, but that makes me oppositional to certain stable coins, and they'll eventually be an extension of a CBDC, and
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing free market about that. And so if we could do this thing in an unregulated way, like globally, that's just a complete pipe dream, and I would love to see it that way. But I think as long as you have Bitcoin as an option amongst many options, I mean, what more could you ask for? So we'll see how that plays out. One more thing I was gonna say was, what was I gonna say? Well, so doesn't this in a way kind of prove to other countries that you can take the same playbook that El Salvador took, go all in on Bitcoin, grow your GDP like crazy, improve the country, and then now you've got you've got negotiating power with the frickin' IMF, and you're at the table with influence now, and you can dictate terms. The more Bitcoin that goes up. So they've set that path. I think that's a beautiful thing as well. So we'll see if other countries do that because they paved the way for this. I just hate the IMF. So I'm pigeonholing myself. If I see the IMF, I have visceral reactions toward that,
Right.
and it's hard to be objective because they're such pieces of shit.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Just
You're
trying,
not
but
wrong.
I'm trying so hard.
No, just give in. Give in to the hatred.
Fuck them, man. If
It's
if
tough,
you
man.
if you have not read any of this is to our viewers, our maybe 30 viewers, maybe I don't know.
I don't know.
If you have not read any of Gladstein's work, you definitely should. There's the check your privilege one, but then there's also what's the other one? Do you know top of mind? Hidden repression. I was looking at my leather
Okay.
bound.
The stack. It's a nice stack. I can see it
Yeah.
back there. It's looking good.
Yeah, hidden repression is great. Unpacks all the horrible things that the IMF does on a global scale, and they are essentially just a cartel. That's what they are.
Yeah, right.
The worst. Okay, we can move on to. We've got a few different topics. We've got alien orb drones. We've got World War III, and we've got a athlete buying Bitcoin.
All right. So no World War III. It's not happening.
Nah,
Alien drones. No,
not
it's not
alien.
happening.
No,
No, come on.
government
Come on.
drone.
Don't you think? It's government drones.
Government
Come on,
drone.
man. Come on.
100%. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
They're it's the fucking government. Yeah.
Aliens.
They're not aliens. They're not, it's the government. It's
They might be unidentified, but I just don't think that our even in the presidency of Biden, which has been whatever, I don't think that this many this many drones for this amount of time over this wide of an expanse would be allowed. So I think it's us. It's our government and who knows what they're doing. Maybe there's some funding bill that expires that
maybe
they want to have, you know, they need to have allocated in the latest budget reconciliation. But forget all about that. Let's talk about your football boy
a football
um,
boy.
taking money in Bitcoin. The kid's a high schooler, man. Has he even finished school? He's just committed. He hasn't even played one season.
He looks Hawaiian. I mean,
He's Polynesian.
he's Polynesian clearly, right? Mai Tai Tag I live in Hawaii. I should know how to pronounce this. Mai Tai Tagoai. Anyway, he's accepting part of his NIL earnings in Bitcoin. He's going to USC. I want to figure out where he is high school right now, but he is the first athlete one of the first athletes to accept part of his NIL earnings in Bitcoin. The four-star linebacker and top 100 recruit in the 2025 cycle has partnered with Strike, your favorite app, buddy,
It is, man.
to
I
accept
think
part of
it's
his NIL payments in Bitcoin. The deal was announced today. Let's see here. I want to see if there's anything else here. The San Clemente linebacker, Cali guy, picked USC over Oklahoma, Texas, Texas A&M, and Washington. I would have liked to see him go to a more tax-friendly, Bitcoin-friendly state like Texas or
he's closer to home.
Texas A&M, Oklahoma. I don't know about Oklahoma's uh,
No,
friendliness. I would imagine they'd be friendly to Bitcoin.
yeah, but I think he's thinking about football and future career.
No,
Plus,
I know, but I want him to think differently.
oh, you want him to be in a low tax place.
I just
I
learned
I
who he
mean,
is, but I want to dictate the course of his life.
yeah, no, I don't blame you.
I
I
think I've
think
earned the right.
yeah,
Excuse me.
everybody, yeah, everybody gets an opinion. You're not wrong there. But
Welcome
yeah,
to
look,
X in real life. Welcome to just people having an opinion about everything that they just learned about 10 minutes ago.
yeah. So, so let's say he gets paid in Bitcoin. I suppose that's taxable. Is that right? Because it's just treated like income,
Taxable. I
even if
think
you don't
Strike
sell
is,
it.
well, here's what, so he's working with Strike, but
So
it's
they
a
just convert it to
collective,
Bitcoin.
yeah, it's a collective deal with House of Victory. I don't know House of Victory. His quote, which he definitely
That's
didn't
a
write, I'm sure, is
talent management firm.
yeah, there you go. Okay, that makes sense. He said, "This is a game changer for me. By taking part of my NL earnings in Bitcoin, I'm setting myself up for long-term financial growth. I'm grateful to Strike, House of Victory, and 3.0 Labs. We gotta look into that.
I
That's
think that's another. These are talent management firms.
3.0 Labs almost sounds like a shitcoin company, like they do web.
Web 3.0
I just
labs.
hear three. For helping me take this step, I'm proud to be part of this innovative collaboration that's redefining the future of college athletics and finance, and hope to set an example for other youth athletes to think about their financial future. I'll say this, he is leagues ahead of where I was at when I was 18. I didn't buy Bitcoin when I was 18 because it wasn't invented yet. So good for him.
Yeah, no, he is leagues ahead. I mean, this is hope for the Zoomers, I mean, even millennials, goodness. I mean, that's one good thing about the price not running away from us too fast is that people who are in the earning years of their life can actually stack some Bitcoin if they're awake and aware. But I like that the next generation would get in on Bitcoin. I think it's really smart. And yeah, I'm probably just as envious as you feel.
I like that it's obviously Bitcoin only. I'm looking at the 3.0 Labs and it's not a shitcoin company, which is nice to see. Oh, no, it is. Web3 and Bitcoin advisory.
Oh, Web3 and Bitcoin advisory.
Those
Oof.
don't go hand in hand. You can't do both. We provide expert consulting on blockchain, Bitcoin, NFTs, and Web3 technologies, empowering clients to lead the future of sports and entertainment. I mean, learn from every athlete that's come before you that's ever dabbled in Web3 and NFTs and this blockchain bullshit. Look at Tua. Look at Scottie Pippen doing his bullshit NFT basketball thing. And he just, what, I mean, there, Trevor Lawrence did like some Solana stuff. If you, Tom Brady doing FTX stuff, if you just focus on Bitcoin, your life is going to be so much easier and you're going to be so much more wealthy than what you would be wasting your time doing this really bullshit promotional short-term stuff. It's just plastic bullshit.
Disgusting. It's
It's can
disgusting.
you tell how sick I am just thinking
Yeah.
seen it. We've seen so many athletes go down this path, and all they do is ruin the reputation. So, my advice, maybe he had a conversation with them. He's like, "Yeah, I don't want to do any of that bullshit. I'm the 6'4", 215-pound linebacker, and I'm only buying
Mhm.
Bitcoin because I'm a man."
Right. Chad move right there.
Total
That
Chad
would have
move,
been a lot.
baby. Okay. What I will say, maybe I'm a little riled up because I had been in the comments battling with all these
Oh
people
yeah.
talking shit. I don't do it. I used to do it a lot more. Sometimes I just get drawn in because I'll see someone say crypto's going to zero, and I'm like, it's Bitcoin, not crypto, and just I just go off and I spend like 10 minutes going through all the
Arguing with
comments
bots.
and being like, read a book. Just a total asshole. I gotta work on that. Or maybe
No,
not. Fuck them. Fuck them.
no, yeah. You got to keep that ragged edge. You don't want to be too soft.
Jagged edge.
I feel like toxicity is key. I mean, it is important for Bitcoiners to be toxic. Bitcoin is the immune response to everything else. We
Yes.
are supposed to go out there and battle and destroy the disease that is crypto, Web3, and blockchain.
And I'm looking through my comments and I'm stopping right here, but I posted earlier like 6 different times in that chat. So
You're gonna send that to me. I'm gonna jump in there and help you out.
yeah, help me out, brother. Come on. No one's really chiming back. They probably don't want to, they know that they don't want to mess with the bull, you get the horns.
That's right. Or it could just be bot comments.
They know me. I almost have 4,000 followers, okay? So
Oh man.
pretty,
I
pretty big deal. You're at
I
four.
broke I broke through, man. I hit 4,000 this week.
I am happy for you. How did you do it?
Memes.
Yeah, but I'm doing memes too. I don't think they're that bad. I'm just not getting any traction. Like I was getting good engagement. I was getting like hundreds of likes, and then I kept posting similar stuff, and then I would get like 4 likes. I'm like,
Yeah,
it's been
you
that
need
way
to
for a
be
week.
more
But,
toxic.
but you know what? I was wondering why that happened, and then just the other day, my uh everything expired, whatever it's called. The premium expired. I was like, oh,
Oh. Oh, so you don't have premium anymore?
I had to re-sign back up for it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm getting vetted again,
Oh.
but I think that they were doing this thing
Mm,
where let's give them some engagement
right.
right before it leading up and then rug
Oh.
pulling to then make them feel like shit and then be sure to pay.
Yes. The marketing guys thought of that. It's part of the user journey. It's a
Yeah.
drip campaign.
Pain point. Yeah.
They do that. They absolutely do it, man. You've been psyoped into getting another blue check.
I was gonna do it anyway. Like I use it. Like I use it for work, right?
Yeah,
Like
me
actually
too.
all the bookmarks I use and just the trending stuff. Like I legitimately use it. Of course, I waste a lot of time doing dumb shit, but I find a lot of value in it. And so, yeah, I'll pay for it. I'll write it off. That's what I do.
I like the blue check because you show up higher in the replies. So when you throw tomatoes at people like, Dave Portnoy or whoever you want to throw tomatoes at, Elizabeth Warren, it lands and there's a chance that they're going to see your response.
That
And
is it's good reason. Yeah.
that's the incentive for me. I like to be able to throw stones. So, um, if you don't want to be shouting into the void,
You
it's
know,
something to think about.
they do that, right? Like I've see people that have legitimate comments under my posts sometimes, but it's hidden.
Yeah.
It's probably spam, and then like I'll click it open, but it's not spam at all. They're just
No,
people
it's
that have blue checks. I'm like, you motherfuckers are blocking the fellow plebs from getting visibility for me to engage with them.
Yeah, they are. But if you bought Bitcoin a couple months ago, $11 a month is nothing compared to the gains that you've received in the price action. So, you
Yeah.
know, uh,
If they
that's the
accept
way I look
Bitcoin,
at it.
even better, I
If
pay
they do what?
directly with Bitcoin. That's what I'd like to do.
Yeah, maybe.
I would do it.
That's
I want to use Bitcoin as much as I can, but replenish it, buy it and then replenish, buy it, replenish.
there
Uh,
you go.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, because been getting paid in Bitcoin, and so I got to use it. I have, I have to. I need things, but
Right.
it's made me so damn frugal that I'm like, do I really need this loaf of bread? You
Oh
know?
man. No, you don't.
Sorry, honey,
72-hour water fast.
we have to sell the blankets. Okay, okay. I think that's it for the news. Anything else you wanted to cover before we take a quick break?
No, that sounded all very newsworthy. Good job.
Well, let's take a little break. We'll come back and we'll do Bitcoin or shit, and then we'll stack some sats.
After this word from our sponsor.
Over to them.
You're looking sharp. You're looking good. You're looking sharp. You're looking good. You've come so far. And we know how to make the most of who you are. Father to son, it's what we've always done. To let the best of man begin. On so many faces, it's plain to see. We give you all we have to give, for all a man can be. Where the race is run, you're the champion. To let the best of man begin. To let the best of man begin.
I think this is like the we're taking our medicine portion of the show.
That's a good way to think of it. And then we stack the sats after to make ourselves feel better. So there's no wheel, but I like to say that. Let's spin the wheel. If you bought Bitcoin a freaking 4 hour chef, you'd have almost 90K. That would
Oof.
have been in 2012. Although, really no investment like in your health. And Tim Ferriss, pretty legit. Worth
Okay.
90K? No.
No, I don't think so.
Did I buy that book? Yes.
You did buy it.
Yes, I did buy
You
that
would
book.
have 90K.
And I didn't read it. So
Oh, goodness.
the pain is real, actually, for me.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple weeks ago when we hit the Starbucks one, that one hit me because I've bought that before. But rarely do we pull up a Bitcoin or shit that I have purchased. Let's see what we got on the next one.
And then again, also bought this. Oh,
Oh,
I did buy this and I read this.
oh my goodness. This is written by the bald dude that wants the Malthusian,
Yes, Harari.
Klaus Schwab's number two.
I've read like all his books, and he. I told my mom, and she was like, "He's an IMF shill. Stay away. She's based." And this was like 2012, 2013 maybe, so it wasn't when it came out. She was ahead of the curve.
Yeah. If she was really ahead of the curve, she'd have 81 million bucks and
Yeah,
830 Bitcoin.
exactly, dude.
No offense to your mom, but
No, 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 it's true. It's true.
uh,
Say the same thing. She's fucking based. Okay.
great.
Well, that hurts. Let's stack quick. Let's do it. Is
All right, we need a new screen. We need to, yeah.
that it? Okay.
Yep.
Because that does, when I do that, does that actually not show us at all?
It stays up the whole time and we're like in a window.
Okay.
Are you saying you don't watch our show?
No, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
It's all good, man.
Dude,
Yeah.
sometimes no, I don't know what it is. If I'm going like, if I go full screen with the window, we completely are
Oh,
blocked out of it.
yeah, you're right. Sometimes it is like that.
And I think it's when I only go full screen from what it seems like.
Okay.
Okay, let us stack it the coin. Are you doing strike again?
Yeah, I'm going to use Strike. I should probably try a different app at some point.
You know, you should try and get a NIL deal. I know you're only,
Name, image,
in your
likeness.
40s, yeah, but you could probably get back there, get a deal with a strike to what's the sport?
Yeah.
Lacrosse? Play lacrosse?
No, I play ice hockey in a beer league.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I could probably do that. Yeah, the ads would be geared towards guys in their, between 40 and 60.
You need to reach that demographic. I think you should reach out to Jack.
They're still good though. I mean, it's not a it's not an easy league to play in. All right, how much are we doing?
21?
21?
Yeah.
Man, if we had purchased like minutes ago it'd be at 95. We're back to like
No,
97.
maybe when it's yeah, whatever. I was gonna say maybe when it's lower, but yeah, I'm at 97 right now.
Yeah,
90,
96,
yeah,
841,
I'm
21
buying
cent
it. It's
fee.
going back up. I bought
All right.
2150.
21, yep, 21,468 sats. There we go. All right.
I bought it. It was like giving me 97, but I'm looking at it's 96.
Ah, now it's 96. Shoot. Might have to stack it a little bit more.
You want to do another five spot?
Yeah, because now it's at 96. Shh.
Let's do another 10.
All right, $10. Let's go here.
96, 96.9.
Gener generational wealth. I'm at 96.7.
Okay. But now it's at 96.5. Okay. It's just their spread. It's cool. We love them. It's okay.
All right.
So we did a little bit more than usual. We did 31 today. That's good. We should feel good about that.
Yeah. Yeah, so far I've got I mean, I'm stacking up. I'm halfway to a million sets. I've got 454,000 sets.
What it's all
That's
about.
some of that wasn't the show. Some of that's just me smash buying it because the price dropped. But you know, I feel like when I hit a million sats on this app from our stacking, that'll be a big deal.
Yeah, dude, I'm not stacking as much as I was only because I'm getting paid in Bitcoin.
You're
So
stacking in a different way.
I'm stacking in a different way where it's actually a lot more than what I would have been stacking. And that feels good. I'll say that it feels good. I do miss out on
Yeah.
the freedom of stacking when I want to stack.
Yeah, but
It's
getting lump sum Bitcoin, that
some
goodness,
Bitcoin.
that's not. Yeah. All right, I'm a little jealous.
What I was
That's
getting,
okay.
it's amazing, dude. I for a year, right? So I've my income, if you think about it that way, my income's gone up 130% from when I first started getting paid in Bitcoin. Only a
Mm,
portion of my income, so not the whole thing. But when you
mm.
like going through that and seeing that and realizing that the work I did then, which what I was offering was discounted. I needed to close business, so it was
Yeah,
discounted. But to see that now actually be more than the highest rate that I would have charged is amazing, and it makes me only want to accept Bitcoin. So I
right.
incentivize that. I'm using Zaprite, and so I can give you can pay with cash if you want, but you get a discount if you pay in Bitcoin, and it goes right to my hardware wallet. And it's put me in
Oh
a
man.
a situation where I am going to have to figure out, yeah, like just tax stuff, right?
No.
It's the first year that I've been earning in Bitcoin, so I'm going to have to report my income as being paid in Bitcoin, even if it's not like if I'm not
Right.
tax event. So that's a whole thing, but it's a
Stay
learning
compliant.
experience. Yeah, it's
I
it's a
can't give you any advice on screen.
okay. We'll talk off screen. It's kind of a complex situation. I'll tell you about it. So if you've been through something similar, you can
No, I
check
mean,
it
I
off.
just feel like it's very important to report your income accurately.
I don't
That's
have
important.
I don't have a choice.
I know. Well, that's the point. We don't, you got to do it. I haven't, I mean, I'm not saying I've ever gotten in any trouble. I haven't. I just think they're going to find out is the point that I want to make. And I know because the guy who used to live at my house, his mail comes here about twice a month. He's getting letters.
Oh shit.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh goodness. Like they're on him like white on rice constantly. He's constantly getting notes from the IRS.
I don't want that. I want to avoid that. I pay for good accountants. It's an expense I'm willing to pay. I hate it. Absolutely hate having to do that. I hate that I have to and I have to pay taxes on a quarterly basis during the year, or
Yeah.
else they'll fine me. And I've actually just taken the fines to pay a little bit higher because I mean, just the fact that they say, we know how much you make, but you have to figure it out. And if you guess wrong, you're going to go
Right.
in jail. And also, now you need to pay us on a quarterly basis, which is different than what you used to do because you used to be able to pay the year after once you figured everything out. But now we're going to make you pay every quarter. And if you wait to actually pay in the year that you should be able to pay, we're going to fine you even more. So we're going to steal your money. We're going to print money. So whatever you are making is going to be worth less. And then we're going to make you have to invest that money. And then if you invest it and then you sell that thing, then we're going to tax you on that as well. So you can't really escape us. Okay. And you don't actually own anything. Do you think you own your car? You don't own your fucking car because if you have to pay us every year for a safety inspection and registration, if you don't do that, then you can't drive it, or else we'll fine you for that, and you'll go to jail too if you do that enough times. So you don't own shit. You think you own your house? Well, if you don't pay your property taxes, we'll fucking steal it from you because we're the IRS and we're a glorified cartel. So thanks for
Let
giving.
him cook. Let him cook.
One of those
Let's
days,
just do
man. I
this.
had calls with my accountants yesterday, so I'm fired up.
Yeah. Let's just do this for the rest of the time.
Let's go
How
into a
much we
half.
hate taxes.
Yeah, this is what's fucked up about this too, I'm actually a little bit afraid that if the wrong person sees this, it's like now I'm a person of interest, because I don't trust
Well,
like
we'll edit it out. Or not.
maybe it's smart to do that.
I don't know. I mean, I think everybody hates paying taxes.
Everyone hates paying taxes, right? But next thing you know, I'm on the radar and they're like, that guy. But I've got it. I'm good. I pay my taxes. I fucking hate that I
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah,
And
sure. Everybody does. You got to stay out of the concrete cage.
I
Tariffs.
just I don't want to go to jail. That's it.
Right.
The only reason I'm paying my taxes is because I don't want to be imprisoned or killed by the
Yeah.
government. Because if
They will do that. They will show up at your house with guns.
they will fucking kill you. The
All
government is
right.
fucking coming to kill you. I know Zoom is listening in on this too.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I, th-
Oh, just jokes, just
I
jokes.
think,
But
yeah,
they've done
not
it
financial
before.
advice.
But they've done it before.
Yeah, they have. Ruby Ridge. Goodness. I
Fucking
think
Ruby
that,
Ridge. Look it up. Look it
yeah,
up.
yeah, man.
You take me away from this, buddy. I'm going down a dark path right now. Take me away.
I want to know who's going to have the most fun staying poor.
Do you want to cue this one up, or should we just give it a watch and talk about it after?
Yeah, so what I would say is imagine the hourglass, the sands of time.
I'm gonna
This
give
is
you a
my
little bit of
thesis.
love here too, by the way. Here we go.
Oh, hey, thanks, dude. Yeah, look at that.
Take it away.
So the sands of time. Imagine we're looking at an hourglass, and all the sand is all the Bitcoin that will ever exist, and 19 million point nine coins are already at the bottom. And we have a million grains of sand that are yet to fall over the next 140 years. The next 10 years is when most of those will become available. This is what I think is going to happen. People are going to be buying in silent in a way that doesn't trip the market. And then one day there won't be any Bitcoin available except for what the miners produce. So we're going to go from a normal day, Bitcoin's 100, whatever the number is. And then you're going to wake up and Bitcoin's going to be at 500,000 or $1 million. And it's because it's all gone. All the liquid supply is gone. And now we're waiting for the miners to mine Bitcoin. So let's watch this because I think that's what Michael Saylor's tipping us off to his strategy.
If you did get included in the S&P 500. So we'll have to keep in touch on that one. But I want to go back to the Bitcoin buying, and I want to talk about how you actually purchase the Bitcoin. Are you buying through an exchange, over the counter, peer to peer? This, of course, is made more interesting by the fact that obviously you're buying in bulk.
We use regulated exchanges in the United States like Coinbase. And when we're buying, we'll be buying, on a simple like TWAP algorithm. So our goal is to not be noticed by the market, not to move the market. If anything happens with the Bitcoin price or even with the MicroStrategy price, it isn't us. Our objective is to basically be market participants, but never move it up or down or be noticed.
Wow. What an insight.
Yeah, he's not the only one. This is what, let's say the UAE purchased 400,000 Bitcoin. They did the same thing. They're using algorithmic strategies to purchase without anyone knowing it. One day the Bitcoin will be gone. It will all be purchased. That's what I'm saying. And I say that because I think that we're lulled into this sleep where we think that Bitcoin's going to be available forever and anytime you want to buy it, you'll be able to. And I'm saying that will not happen. One day it will be gone and the entire world will be waiting for every 10-minute block that gets produced. And at that point, I think you're going to have deals be made, like you said earlier, between countries and the miners, between powerful entities and the miners. Who are the most powerful people in the world? Those are the ones who are going to have the Bitcoin before you and I get a chance to buy it from an exchange. This is coming into view. And with 2 million Bitcoin on exchanges liquid, some of that belongs to the people that keep their Bitcoin on the exchange. How much is truly available? 400,000 Bitcoin?
Hmm.
I mean, that's going to be gobbled up in the next 8 months. Like we don't have a full year to stack as much sats as possible.
It's nothing if you really think of it. If you math it out, you will see what you're saying is inevitable. It's not an if, it's a when. It
Yeah.
just a matter of what that timeline is. But as we say, gradually, then suddenly.
Yeah, suddenly. And I think, let's say we hit a million, just that's the number. It'll wick down to 800,000 because of anyone who is doing profit taking, but then it'll spike right back up because 800,000 is an opportunity for the next buyer. Just like today, wick down to 95, 96, and within hours it's back up. So I just think that, the suddenly will happen and it'll collapse and then it'll reaccelerate.
For sure. To put that into further context, we've got a beautiful clip here from April 2013 on MSNB. I forgot the C, MSNBC, when Bitcoin crashed to $73. Right now, it's crashing to 96,000. And the same people that are these same people exist. They're like Bitcoin's crashing to 96,000. In another 10 years, crashing to 95, 96,000 is going to be hilarious. Can you believe that they were talking about Bitcoin crashing to 96,000? It, so let's just watch this. This is beautiful.
Right at the Bitcoin craze, you may have saved yourself some money. Mary Thompson is here. What was that with the flash crash?
Well, I don't know, Mandy. 2 days ago, of course, the currency was turning heads at $240. Today, investors are turning tail. Bitcoin's value plummeting to a low at she said 54.25 each overnight. A stunning 77% decline, recovering to just over $73 now. Bitcoin still making money for investors who got early, though. Its recent rise, fueled by demand from investors looking for a place to stash cash during the Cyprus crisis.
Maybe it's a little bit shady.
Well,
if I be a little bit shady,
if I had a Bitcoin and I was paying you in Bitcoins, they could basically look at our account numbers, but it has nothing to do with our identity. So you can buy things again with no one knowing.
We don't even know who invented this. No, right? There's some rumors that it's a Japanese guy, but others say no, that he's a fake name. It was a pseudonym. You're literally putting real money onto a system that we don't even know who created it.
No, not at all.
Oh my goodness.
Really, it's kind of an amazing story.
I mean, it's just
what an embarrassment.
It's just beautiful. I love it because it's again, those same people exist. If you're on X, you see people like this. They're few and far between. Well, there's still a lot of people on broadcast TV saying stupid shit, but you always think that you're getting in late. You're not getting in late, and let this be a lesson in that they could be their net worth could have increased by 10,000%, right? Is that accurate?
Yeah. Yeah, I console myself with the thought that if you had purchased Bitcoin at 54,000, you would have sold most of it by now, and you wouldn't have held on to it. And maybe you bought back at 5,000 and sold it when it went to 10. There are some people who have hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin. Kudos to all those who got in early. I think we have the benefit of being plebs today, of knowing that Bitcoin is mathematically going to increase forever.
Yeah.
It wasn't well known at that time, so some people could have got it at 50, most did not.
Yeah, I think it's just you have to what we're running because people that came before us walked and people that came before them crawled. They didn't have the same information that we do now. So I'm grateful for all the Bitcoiners that developed this mentality of stacking, staying humble and stacking sats and blocking out all this other noise and really dunking on people like this because I think that's like what keeps us around too and having fun all the time because I don't want these people to disappear. I actually, who are we going to dunk on? Like, it's not going to be as
Come back so we can
enjoyable.
make fun of you.
Yeah, we need people to make fun of so we can, collectively as a group feel something. And
Feel better about our own selves.
I'm grateful.
You know what? I think it's good. Yes, we need to dunk on people. I've said many things that deserve being dunked on.
That's some
I
shit.
mean,
Yeah.
the one thing that hurts is like you get Bitcoin at the price you deserve. And man, that is so true. And it's one of those, it's true no matter what time you start buying Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's it's just like a very hard truth that you just have to accept.
Yes, yes. And we all go through that stage, I'll say. Any parting wisdom to share with our viewers?
Buy the dips.
I agree. My parting wisdom is time in the market is better than timing the market. Chill out. Don't worry about a thing. Just keep stacking and your future self will thank you. That's
Good
it.
stuff.
That's it.
All
Okay.
right,
Pleasure as always. I'll see you on X.
Yeah, man.
Shit posting.
I'll see you out there. Have a good weekend.
You too. Let's go dunk on some people over the weekend. X.
All right, I'll do it. I'll
Tag.
tag you in the dunks.
Okay, sir. Have a good one.